Good afternoon. I take great pleasure in getting to talk to you today about one of my favorite things in life, hiking in the backcountry of national parks. Hiking is challenging and exhilarating all at the same time. I started doing day hikes at a very young age with my dad in the Cub Scouts. My dad was the greatest teacher I ever had, and he's my hero to this day. As I grew older, the Boy Scouts taught me more and more about wilderness survival skills. Our Boy Scout troop camped almost every month. Yes, almost every month. It didn't matter if it was hot with lots of bugs or freezing cold with lots of snow on the ground. We had a great time playing in the snow and building snowmen. We learned to make fires in the snow. We loved the outdoors. My knowledge of the outdoors grew as I interacted with so many different great men in my early age. These men were Boy Scout leaders, they were other fathers, and they were also church members that liked to camp. Once I graduated high school, I joined the Army. As you can probably guess it, I was a ground pounder. Infantry, 11B, that was all for me. My survival skills continued to grow and my map reading skills were honed. I was in a unit that rucked a ton of miles, and rucking means putting on a military style backpack with 25 to 45 to 65 pounds of weight and hiking with a weapon in long pants and long jacket and a hat. We walked so much in this unit that I felt at one point that my feet literally were going to fall off. I was stationed in Hawaii with the 25th Infantry Division. We spent much of the time in the field and traveling to train. We went to Alaska to learn winter survival and military tactics. We went to the Philippines to enhance our jungle training and play war games. We went to the outback in Australia to learn desert training, and we had war games with the Australians. And of course, we went to Korea to play Operational Team Spirit, which was a huge war game for almost a month. But being stationed on Hawaii, everyone thought that it was living on the beach. Actually, we spent much time in the Hawaiian jungles and climbing the high mountains to train the best way that we were able to. One of the greatest things I saw in Hawaii on a road march was a cross that was standing high on a mountaintop above Schofield Barracks. We stopped there every time we ran to it or rucked to it. We stopped and we prayed, because this was the spot that the Japanese flew over and started their bombing runs on the military bases. We gave our respect because America lost so many that day. When I got out of the military, I was able to travel more freely and to more national parks. I hiked in Acadia in Maine, the Adirondacks in New York, and the Black Mountains. And by far, my favorite three spots of all time are Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon, and Grand Escalante. Zion has Angel's Landing, which is a very fun hike that takes you up to great heights on a very narrow, dangerous trail. The Narrows is 16 miles of hiking down through a river that feels like you're walking on bowling balls the whole time. We were able to stop in the middle and camp. My wife and I camped where no one else was around for miles. The next morning our tent was shaking and my wife told me, "I think there's something out there." As I opened it, I was greeted with a small deer that had somehow made its way up this canyon. It was an amazing experience. Bryce Canyon is a place that if you go to, you will say God had to have his hand in this. The sunrises and sunsets are some of the most beautiful things in the world, the way it goes across the canyon floor. There are no major cities for miles, so at night when you camp or stay in the lodge, there's no lights, and the stars are absolutely the greatest you've ever seen. Grand Escalante has slot canyons, which are amazing and challenging to hike. Some of these are barely big enough for you to slide your body through, but have the prettiest colors that you'll ever see in rocks, and some of the coolest rock formations that you could ever imagine. Make sure you look these up online. Speaking of slot canyons, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about my wife's favorite hikes of all times. It's in Page, Arizona, Navajo country. My wife's Navajo and Polish, so she loves this area. There's a place called Upper Antelope and Lower Antelope Canyon. Both are within a mile of each other. But if you look up images for Upper, you'll see that first thing in the morning is the best time to go, and Lower Antelope, late in the afternoon, is the best time for the way the light dances through the canyon. The photos online are what you will see. Many of them have not been photoshopped, and the colors are true and vibrant. You'll see vibrant oranges, reds, and purples. And the great thing is there are hikes that are only day hikes. When I say it's a day hike, it's an hour or two hike that you can drive up to the edge and go for a short walk. That's why my wife loved them so much, because she was new to hiking. Hiking in the backcountry does take some excellent skills. And the reason why hiking in the backcountry does is because you need to be up on your craft of reading a map and having confidence in your abilities. Because if you get lost or you get injured, you may be there for days. I would strongly suggest that if you start hiking, that you start with day hikes and using a GPS and a physical map every time you go out. I carry both as a fail-safe. You'll need to break in a good pair of boots. Wearing boots for ankle support is the best way. You also, by wearing these boots, break them in for your longer hikes. So when you want to start distance, start with a light pack, but always have water, an emergency blanket. You've probably seen the cheap ones at Walmart. They look like a piece of aluminum foil for $3 or $4. They work amazing. We use them for the fire service to give to homeless people and to keep them warm in the winter. Carry dry matches in a case. Carry a candle. Carry a fire starter tinder. They're not very heavy at all. Carry a small first aid kit, because you need Band-Aids, aspirin, Tums, tweezers, moleskin for when you get your blister, and ace bandages should you sprain an ankle. These are essential if you become hurt or lost. Always have a snack or two in there too, just to keep your energy up, and if you get lost, you have a food source. Always inform people where you're hiking, when you're leaving, and when you expect to be back. This will keep you safe. Again, even if it's for just a day hike, make sure someone knows where you're going. Many equipment stores like REI and Eastern Mountain Sports, EMS, Cabela's, have starter classes for camping, hiking, map reading, GPS skills, and survival skills. These are great resources. Make sure you use them. In closing, I hope I have inspired you to get out there and go hiking. As for me, my next trip is coming in 4 weeks to the Adirondacks with my 2 young children and wife. I can't wait to expose my children to the outdoors and let them learn the skills that I learned. Thank you for taking time for listening to this. God bless.